ba 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 ba. Bloody hell! It's news time, you shits. Hi, welcome to It's News Time, you shits. The daily news program that I will always bring to you, no matter how horrifically I have been mangled in a home-based accident, which didn't involve my face and wasn't as bad as it sounds, but I am in quite a lot of pain. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever the fuck it is where you are. We are in the fourth moon of the second cycle of the lockdown, and it's been an interesting day thus far. I woke up early with every intention of getting this video churned out and getting sorted, and then I wanted to get a few bits done around the house before I settled in front of my computer for what is the foreseeable future. And well, that's me, the guy on the crutches. The other guy's Mean Gene Okerlund. Okay, well, neither of these are actual people. One's Lego and one's a Funko Pop. Fucking think about it. But the little Lego cripple on the end, and I use that term because that is a term I use self-deprecatingly about myself often. I have been told off for it, but I would never call anyone else one. But the problem is I live with chronic pain. Now, I'm not complaining, because there's a hell of a lot of people have it worse than me, and it's something I can live with, but genuinely I am in a position where I have to find a way to live with the pain I'm in or have my leg amputated. There are no middle grounds here. And I have osteoarthritis complicated by stuff. I've got metalwork in there. I've got fucking scaffolding up the side. There's fuck knows what's in there at this point. I mean, my X-ray looks like a jigsaw puzzle, so it's a bit of a mess. The point I'm making is it's an already damaged system that I walk on. Okay, and I get by and it's fine. It makes certain things a bit tricky, but you adjust quite rapidly to situations, and I've been like this for years, so it just is what it is now. The problem I have is when any extra injury comes along. Now, today, I decided that I wanted to try and sort the kitchen out, and my wife and I decided we would stock rotate, which is something we do on a sort of semi-regular basis, where we go through the cupboards and make sure that we're not wasting anything, there's nothing coming up to its use-by date that we should use, and you find weird shit that you forgot you bought or had given to you. We found what I think of as the remnants of the Yuletide season tucked away at the back of the cupboard. So during this corona-apocalypse, if you need any fig preserve, I've got you covered. You want 150 mince pies? I've got the fucking mincemeat to make them. And don't talk to me about crystallized stem ginger, because fucking stupid. But anyway, while doing this, we also clean out all the cupboards, give them a good wipe down with the old Milton. And I was up there on the worktop. I climbed up. I put my knee on, the oven. We're a bit flush, we've got an oven, but no, the oven, and there's a gap for the oven in the worktop. Well, our gap is bigger than the oven, but there's a little handy dandy divider bit, and there's a piece of wood that used to cover the gap, which rests on a tiny bracket, which, when rusted through, will snap under the weight of an average sized man. So under the weight of this man, it fucking exploded. So I put my knee on it and went straight through the prick. As my life flashed before my eyes, I managed to extend my leg because I thought that would be better than just stacking it backwards off the counter and smashing my head and pulling down the washing up and ending up with ceramics stuck in my face and a fucking cleaver through the thorax. I was wrong. I would have taken the knives, because what I actually did was extend my leg, and then my bones, which are essentially glass, acted as a shock absorber. I don't know if you've ever tried to use glass as a shock absorber, but it's not generally successful, and in this case it was similar. So I have popped my ankle and it hurts a lot. I mean, it could be worse, and I'll be fine. The point I'm trying to make is that it could be worse. Now, luckily, I am fine. I've taken a lot of painkillers, and I'll manage to snap the foot back into place later. But had it have been worse, I would be putting strain on an already difficult situation for the NHS. All of our key workers are absolutely heroes and are working their asses off right now. And the last thing they need is this fat prick getting barreled into accident and emergency with a broken leg and a rolling pin up his arse, which it wasn't there before. I mean, I would have been the guy who fell on it. Yeah, so don't be stupid. The reason I bring all of this up, apart from hoping that through sympathy you will all tell me how much you love me and give me loads of money via my Ko-fi link, which will be below because, you know, struggling content creator, blah, blah, blah. The reason I bring it up is because it's relevant as all fuck, because there was a report recently that DIY supplies have, the sale thereof has barreled through the roof since the lockdown started. Loads of people are thinking, look, I'm sat at home now, I'm on furlough, I'm bored, what do I do? And then it hits on them. They've been wanting to build a custom mahogany display rack for their collection of 123 multicoloured dildos, which is good, because you need things on the walls to make a house a home. But while they're building that rack for the dildos, they pull the rack down on themselves by accident, fall off the ladder, and then they're found impaled by a 7-inch black mamba. You don't need it, right? It's not good, and it's not good for the NHS either. There was a plea put out by one doctor or nurse. I skimmed the article when it came out because to me it was common sense, but obviously there's a lot of people out there, and perhaps some of you are idiots, so I thought it's probably best to, hook you up with the info. Don't start doing dangerous shit at home. If you're going to do some DIY, knock up a bit of flat pack, put up a shelf, make your own custom glory hole in the toilet so that you and your significant other can indulge in a little bit of fun. Not that I did that, and my toilet door's fine. If my landlord asks, that was an accident that happened when I was carrying a curtain pole. If you're going to be doing something like that, just be bloody careful. More so now than ever, because, there's a lot of people getting taken in the hospital. It's pretty shitty out there at the minute, and you don't need to be adding to it if you can possibly help it. So, yeah, be careful, folks. In other sad news, because apparently today's the day that I wanted to drive you all into a deep depression from which there is no escape, Eddie Little has passed away. You might remember Little and Large. You might not. They were active in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s even, maybe, but I don't know that there was much after that. I'm not even sure what became of Sid Little. I hadn't actually thought about the duo for some time, but I remember seeing them on the telly growing up. Eddie Little passed away from the coronavirus. Now, this is where we have a bit of a problem. There are tons of reports of people dying of the coronavirus, and I don't know that the information is necessarily getting out there that in the majority of those cases is down to underlying health conditions. I know people are saying it, but I don't know if it's sinking in with folk. You have to remember that a lot of these cases you see of people passing away, while still terribly sad, of course, it's not what automatically springs to mind. We've all watched too many films, seen too many TV shows, seen too much news, and particularly seen too many really fuck-awful Facebook videos that get shared around that should never be allowed on the net of particular cases of people passing away and things. Like, there are these horrible news reports, and they pop up, and they fucking autoplay, and then before you can do anything about it, you've caught a glimpse of someone choking out their last on a ventilator. It is frightening shit, I understand that. But Eddie Little had had a heart attack and a heart transplant, and he had had multiple health issues. He was in hospital when this happened and contracted the coronavirus in hospital, unfortunately. If the coronavirus had never happened, But all of that had still happened to him. There is every possibility that this week we would have had the same report. Eddie Little passes away after contracting something else in hospital. He was working with a badly damaged system, and that system was put under excessive strain because of the introduction of the virus. It is still very sad. I am not taking anything away from it, but please try and remember that when you see died of coronavirus, there is a tendency to picture someone walking down the street and then coughing and then faceplant into the dirt. It's not how it's happening. It is not a definitively fatal illness. It can be fatal, but generally speaking under certain conditions. And I know we've probably all seen the headlines, youngest person to die, healthy person dies. Yeah, that will happen, but at the same time, were they healthy? Because there is such a thing as an undiagnosed health condition. So yes, it's very scary, but try not to get mired in it, because if you do, it's no more. The sensationalist media is part of the problem. So maybe step away from the news for a bit and just let me tell it to you, because then my viewing figures will go through the roof, and I'm not above using a massive catastrophe to make myself famous. I'm kidding, I'm not that much of a prick. No more sensationalist news. Now we cancelled that idea. Moving on, here's a fun one. Weird, but fun. So, there is actually, never mind the fun, I have to tell you something sad at the start again. This is really the misery episode of the podcast. This isn't a podcast. Vodcast. Is that a thing? Whatever the fuck it is. This one's weird, but just a quick aside. The NHS Nightingale mentioned in that headline, which was shamelessly plucked from Upday, which this thing hasn't stopped beeping for days, with news reports coming in through Upday and the various other news apps I use. So I snatched this screenshot, so, don't sue me Upday. I'm telling people to go and use you. If you have a Samsung phone, it's great. It feeds news to you. If you don't want news fed to you, don't get it. But then that's like saying, if you want to be mauled by tigers, go and kick that tiger in the dick. But if you don't want to be mauled by tigers, no dick kicking the tiger. These painkillers are fucking awesome. Anyway, the NHS Nightingale is that huge temporary hospital that they've made in the Excel Centre in London. Everyone knows that's happening and has been talking about how that's a great thing. They've managed to convert this building into a temporary hospital so they can treat thousands of coronavirus patients. Fantastic. At the same time, I've seen loads of people freaking out because they're converting another building into a huge morgue. Now, what did you think they were going to do? Unfortunately, with the coronavirus running rampant, there are more people dying than is usual. And the system is under a tremendous amount of strain. So unless you're proposing that they just fling our dead into the river, they're going to need somewhere to put them, okay? And I know this sucks, and I realise it seems like I'm being very blasé about people's deaths. I'm not. I'm a realist. This is what happens. So it's good that they're building that huge morgue, or preparing that huge morgue, because then the people who do sadly pass away will have somewhere that they can be taken, treated with respect, and hopefully it won't be needed as much as is expected. But hospitals have morgues. We've made a massive hospital. We're going to need a massive morgue to go with it. I mean, just fucking think it through. Sucks though. Appreciate that. But moving on. NHS Nightingale, symbol of hope. Bizarrely, there was a Facebook page that popped up, or possibly a few Facebook pages, according to this report, which I'm not actually 100% sure what paper it was in, because Update just grabs news from all over the place, but this is the report I saw. Widely reported. Facebook page popped up. Turns out they were asking asking kids to draw pictures to send into the NHS Nightingale. So obviously it's a fairly clinical environment in there, and what they wanted was kids to send pictures in so that they could brighten up the walls. I mean, I spent a lot of time on a children's ward when I was a kid, and I did a lot of drawing with my dad, and a lot of other people did, and the walls were always brightly decorated with kids' pictures and paintings. And it's uplifting and all of that. So it's a really nice idea that no one had and isn't real, because the Facebook page is a fake. Now, but it gave addresses, and it's got people sending pictures in. So what I cannot understand is somewhere there is some criminal genius sat in his fucking bizarrely decorated lair that's just all A4 sheets with various crayon scratch on it, who sat there going, yes, long have I waited to gain thousands of crappily drawn pictures of houses and shitty stick figures with 6 fingers per hand. Truly my time has come. Like, who the fuck is this Ming the moron that sat there asking for... Why do you need... I mean, I wouldn't even be as mad, but look, I sent that in and he rejected mine. Prick. Anyway, the point is that, yeah, the news is real weird at the moment. I mean, take this one for example. It's not as bad as it looks. You know, I like to search pixels for stock photos. This is what you get when you look for earthquake. So, not that there's been an earthquake before anyone panics. It's just, this is what you get. Earthquake. I looked it up because Seismic wasn't returning any results. Here's a weird one for you. There is a very low background hum to the world. So, in some areas, there is a thing called the Bristol hum. That's called that because one of those areas was apparently Bristol. People have been reported over the years as hearing a slight buzz that they can't get away from, that becomes so intrusive on their lives that people have actually committed suicide over this. It's been theorised that that hum is actually certain people with incredibly attuned hearing who are picking up the low-level hum of the tectonic plates beneath the Earth's surface. Now, the world's made up of... Look, I'm not Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm not going to tell you the complete makeup of the fucking planet where you're sat on currently. Go away and Google it. It's interesting shit, but basically, there's all these plates floating about. Now, if one of those put under pressure, there's a slight hum, and obviously they're under constant pressure. Some of these plates are under the sea, so the sea is booming it and blah, blah, blah. Scientists have reported that the way in which the Earth moves has changed slightly because of a lack of pressure on the plates, because there are less people out and about and less traffic on the streets and less of everything. It seems to have affected the entire Earth. I thought that was quite interesting. What? I haven't got any jokes for you about it. That's quite interesting. Go read a fucking science book once in a while. But there is something odd, because apparently that has affected physics in a truly bizarre way. Tits. So, I mentioned Update before, and yes, it is a brilliant resource, and it's not Update's fault that this shit pops up on my feed every single day, but the Daily Mail, the Daily Star, the Mirror, they're all particularly bad for this. Every time a woman is a woman, they find a way to try and sexualise it. Now, in some cases it is sexualised because it's an image of a lingerie model or someone in a photo shoot, which the whole point of it is to show off the outfits and the curves they're in, and etc., etc. I understand that, but even so, you don't have to be a classless fuck about it. Humans are human, weirdly. I've noticed this. Now, obviously, I'm not, so I observe you freaks from the outside, but humans gonna human, and you see someone that you're attracted to, and that's fine. It's how you deal with that. It doesn't matter to them that you're attracted to them. You have absolutely fuck all owed to you because you like the way someone looks. You don't get to be a dick about it. You don't get to leer. You don't get to treat them like a piece of meat. None of that's cool. But you can see someone and go, oh, they're very nice, in your head, and then move on with your fucking day. You can do the same with celebs. Celebrities will pop up on screen doing whatever they're doing, and you can find them attractive. And some celebrities and some people will use that to their advantage, which is 100% fine. Market yourself, and if you are comfortable in your skin and you want to do photo shoots or calendars or nude work or sex work or whatever it is you want to do, great. Fucking crack on. Everyone should be allowed to do that. The problem I have is, in most of these stories, in fact all of the stories that I've seen today, these are women who are, there's models and contestants from Love Island, etc., who post pictures on their Instagram. Now, they want to keep their fan base happy, and they're obviously happy with themselves, and they snap a quick selfie where they're not wearing a hell of a lot, and they stick it up on Instagram. Good, fine, do what you like. That's not news. That's great for the people who follow them. It's not a news story. And it's certainly not breaking news that needs to be thrown at you as like, look at the tits! Which is what the Mail and the Mirror and all that do. Now, this one, for example, Demi Rose sent fans into meltdown in sexy superhero costume in hot boob display. Now, I could live with Demi Rose sent fans into meltdown in sexy superhero costume, right? If she has taken pictures in a sexy superhero costume, which she has then put up online, they could be part of a photo shoot, it could be an Instagram thing, that will be done for, to a certain degree, attention. Now, that might be attention driven by marketing, where she's trying to continue her brand. That might be attention because she wants it, or there's a difference between that kind of posed picture and posed selfie, which is designed to make people find you attractive and keep them coming back to your brand because she's a model. That's what she does. I am not criticising any of this. I wish I could do that. If I didn't look like 100 pounds of shit in a 20-pound bag, by God, I would be all over Instagram with all the stuff hanging out, because that'd be great. I'd feel confident, and I could get all you fuckers to pay me to pose naked. I'd crack on. But the problem here is that it isn't news, and it doesn't deserve this amount of lechery from the fucking headline. I mean, hot boob display. It's like the poor woman is a fucking shelving unit that is only designed to hold tits. Now, that was bad enough. But then there's this one. Now, I cannot tell if this is lecherous or if this is a complaint about the manufacturing standards of women's swimwear. I mean, Love Island, Zara McDermott's boobs escape from bikini top unfit for purpose. One, they did not escape. They are not prisoners therein, and they did not mount some sort of huge campaign. They didn't dig a tunnel, right? They may have fallen out, which would be a wardrobe malfunction, but that isn't even what you're saying here. Now, I haven't clicked on any of these, because I'm not a twat, and I don't particularly want to go ogle women for no reason, but I'm guessing that her breasts did not gain sentience and flee the confines of her bikini. I'm guessing it was either a small or tight bikini, so it was quite a lot of flesh on display, or she had a wardrobe malfunction. One of the two. Right, so that, but also bikini top unfit for purpose. Now, really? Unfit for purpose? Like, who is writing this? A pervy Haynes manual writer? It's fucking... And that's not even the worst one. You remember I mentioned that physics were broken? Well, ba-ba! Love Island, Kady McDermatt's boobs spill from all angles for steamy gym... Spill from all angles? Are they liquid? Has she melted? Are they fucking... Are there tentacles involved? Is this hentai? I mean, honest to God, guys, this is weird, and it's getting weirder, and that's not how boobs work. They don't spill from all angles. They shouldn't. If they do, you should probably have that looked at. And, yeah... In amongst all of the... Like, today the news was literally coronavirus bad, boobs good, coronavirus bad, boobs good, weird megalomaniacal supervillain collects pictures from Jeff aged 3. Fucking... I need to take a step away from the news cycle at some point. But not yet, because weird shit's going on. If I was better at video editing, I would have actually put the X-Files theme over the top of that, but I do all of this in one take in front of a webcam, so fuck it. Bats mysteriously drop dead across Israel, fulfilling biblical prophecy. Now, okay, maybe there is something in the Bible that points to this, but I doubt it's an exact prophecy, because they never are. There is no way in hell, and by all means, if I am wrong, tell me, because I would love to read this, but there's no way in hell that in the Bible it's somewhere it says, and yea, in the year 2020 of our Lord, The bats shall fly across Israel, and lo, they shall perish and plummet from the skies, because, I don't know, shit's getting real. I doubt it, but apparently it's in the Bible, and it is one of the signs of the apocalypse. Okay, firstly, none of the predictions that have been made based on the Bible, the Mayan calendar, astrology, numerology, fucking casting the bones, any of that, none of that has ever been accurate. Now, I'm not shitting on people's beliefs. You believe what you want to believe, and you believe what helps get you through the day. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But we all know that those long dated, those far-flung predictions from way back when are all bollocks. Because they've all been bollocks, and they will continue to be bollocks. I'm sorry, but Nostradamus didn't predict all of this stuff. And yeah, there are some things that seem accurate. And who knows, maybe Nostradamus was just really fucking clever and had a really good idea of how the world was going to go. But they're always vaguely close to... It's like your horoscope. I mean, again, if you want to read your horoscope every day, good. I am not crapping on that. However, when you read your horoscope and it's like, today you will go out into the world, and when you do, you will be greeted by a man with legs. Like, yeah, probably, but it's hardly precise. I want the horoscope where I open it up and it says, today you will wake up at 7:43 p.m, you will urinate for 33 seconds, and then you will have a bowl of crunchy nut cornflakes. At some point, you will fart so hard that it burns your anus slightly. You will wonder if this is a sign of some sort of oncoming condition, like piles. Eventually, you will go to sleep, sexually frustrated. If I read that horoscope, that is a day that will probably occur, and I am absolutely then 100% down to believe that the balls of gas bajillions of miles away, when aligned in a certain order, and when stared at by wide-eyed lunatics, can tell me whether or not my day is going to end poorly or well. But I've never seen it come to pass. Now, as I said, I realise I mentioned that I wasn't shitting on people's beliefs, and then I have essentially just sprayed them with manure. My point is that that's my standpoint on them, and I don't find them particularly convincing. But I understand how some people do, and I understand that some people have perhaps had different experiences than me. But no matter what happens, not one of us has ever had, where in the Bible does it say that there will be a fucking plague of dead bats? I don't know. 40 times, baby. So that's about it. We're back to Mean Gene talking to me, the little Lego crippled guy. Weird shit going on. Look, folks, it's a weird and wonderful world at the minute, okay? And yeah, we all need to take care of each other, and I don't know anymore. I'm in so much pain. Let's just, before we go, let's just pop over to my good friend Harvey the Rabbit with the weather. Oh, Harvey, you stay safe, buddy. Well, folks, as always, stay safe, stay well, stay the fucking doors. Mwah!